Hi guys, it's me Liz with 143 Handmade, and today we are going to make another desk organizer similar to this one, although very different shape. Excuse me, shape, because I'm using 4 of the same size bottle, and I'm going to just put them in a line as opposed to that one I did a little triangle. But so if you're going to do this, what you need to do is you need to get multiple bottles, you know, the same size, you know, to do one that's uniform. But I've used all kinds of different bottles, you know, over the years doing this. So, and then just pick a spot on the bottle. I like to pick an indentation because that just makes it super easy, you know, to just roll all the way around. Now you want to be super careful using your knife, you know. You could use a hot knife here if you're more comfortable. You could use heavy duty scissors, you know, whatever it is that you feel comfortable cutting your plastic bottles apart with. Now I keep this part because I use them as waterers in my pots, so that way it doesn't disturb the soil. But and you can see on this one I nicked it out. It's not, you know, it's not cut super even. It doesn't matter because I'm going to wrap these in denim. And the denim is strong enough, you know, it's a hardy enough fabric that, you know, it doesn't matter that the plastic's not supporting every single bit of it. Okay, and so what I'm going to do here is lay this down, and it's kind of got some tacky left. I didn't even bother to like scrub off the glue. I did wash them, but you know, some of those glues, they just don't, you know, they don't disappear just because you put a little bit of soap and water on them, you know? And so what I'm going to do is stick it on there and grab my ruler just so I can get a roughly straight line. Actually, I'm going to flip my mat over too so I can use those straight lines, and that will help. Yeah, I got some paper tape on there from another project, but that shouldn't get in our way. And so I'm going to go ahead and line this up roughly on this line that I can see here. Yeah, and you can see that it's not, you know, this fabric's not 100% cut, you know, perfectly or anything like that. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. And so, okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a line. Just scoot this down so that way I can see lines on both top and bottom. And line up my ruler like so. And then I'm just going to take this pencil pen. This pencil just happens to be the first thing that I grabbed. And I'm just going to mark a line. And because that is easier for me than trying to, you know, like get the rotary cutter in there and just cut it. There we go. See, now we have a flap, so that way after we attach it around, we can tuck that over the edge. Now, see, I don't care that I can see the clear plastic on the inside because I do put my glue bottle, you know, my Fabrifix, when I'm working, I'll put it like that, or any of my glue bottles upside down. And so the fact that it's just that clear plastic in there is totally fine. You know, it doesn't matter in the slightest. But you can put as much glue here as you want, as little glue here as you want. You know, it's just one of those things that it doesn't, depends on how rough you are with your stuff, how glued this really needs to be. I like to put just a little bit because this isn't going to be tucked, this fabric, around under the bottom. I do like to go ahead and, you know, glue up the bottom edge pretty good, and then right there along where it's going to overlap. And I didn't even bother to cut the overlap, so that way it will be straight. Oops, stuck my fingers right into that glue, didn't I? Awesome. And then just come over here like this and add a decent amount of glue, but not, you know, again, it's one of those things, personal preference. You'll learn how much glue you need for the fabrics you're using, excuse me, for how roughly you handle your stuff versus, you know, how roughly I handle mine, all that sort of thing. when you push down, it is squishy because, you know, it squashes really easy, so you kind of want to stick your fingers in there. And again, it's up to you. Using up a bunch of glue here. There we go. How much you overlap this, what fabrics you use, you know. There's so many, you know, beautiful fabrics out there. So experiment. This is just a very basic utility version out of some denim scraps, because I can get denim for super inexpensive, and I love it. It's one of my favorite materials to work with. So, and collage and sewing and all of my art. So, and then you just fold that down and over, you know, and it gets a little squishy, it gets a little weird, you know. It's a glue cup, it's a desk organizer, you know. It doesn't need to be, you know, super perfect. And see, there you go. I like that it's not quite, you know, straight. I like that. That's, you know, that's my jam. But again, this is just like most things that I do. You know, you can be as fussy with it as you want, and you can get it as precise as you want, you know, and that's great. And more power to you. But I am not that girl, you know. I'm not going to be the one to make it fussy, to make it, you know, tell you that it needs to be precise in any way. Okay, now see, I think this fabric's right height-wise, and so I'm just rolling it around so that way I know I have a decent overlap. I need to sharpen these scissors. And then I can just start working on this one. And see, I have this glue that's spooged out. So I'm just gonna wipe that up. See, you know, no reason to waste it. But for those of you that don't know, I've been, you know, reorganizing my stuff again. I tend to do that, you know, a couple times a year. At least once a year, you know, because I do have pets and I have kids and I have, you know, I have all of these people and things that come and go from my life. So I don't have a dedicated, you know, art studio per se. So I can't just leave my stuff out, you know, and so it ends up in boxes and ends up in the drawer and it ends up, you know. And so I like to make it a point to go through it every so often. That way, you know, I remember what I have as much as anything, you know. And so, and in doing that this year, I've learned a few things. You know, I had set up out in our family room. I don't know, like, we have a front room, we have and we have a back room, and we call them different things, and it's funny because we've never quite landed on, like, this is that room, you know. But anyways, the room off the kitchen, and it's great in a lot of ways, and I still plan to do sewing out there, my sewing stuff, because it's just too big. I can't bring my sewing stuff into my room. But I found that I struggle to get into my crafty zone out there. It doesn't really matter how I shift stuff around. It doesn't matter, you know, who's home, who's not home, who's, you know, checked in with me, you know, who's paying attention, who's not paying attention, you know, any of those things. You know, we fiddled with them, all of those variables over the last year, and it just, you know, I'm just more comfortable creating in my bedroom right now, and so in this house, and we're already planning on moving. It's this house was only supposed to be temporary to begin with, and we've already been here a lot longer than we planned. That's one of those homesteading things that, you know, just kind of happened, and we hope to break ground on our house this summer. It's not a guarantee. There's still some things that to be worked out, but we hope to. But in the meantime, I'm trying to get situated so that way I can, you know, do full-time crafting in our bedroom. And my awesome husband was just like, when I mentioned to him that, you know, this was something I wanted to do, that I wanted to move my recording stuff into our room, you know, and have that just be in his space, you know. And I was a little concerned, you know, but he was so awesome. He was just like, okay. He's like, what do you need? What, need help moving? Can you do it? What do I need to do to make this happen? And because so he's trying really, really hard, and to be super supportive of the channel, and he's just kind of amazing like that. I've watched other YouTubers that have said that even their spouses would kind of laughed at them when they said they wanted to do YouTube, and I was very blessed and have not experienced that. So on this one, I'm gonna go ahead and use the finished cuff, just, you know, just to mix it up, see how I like it. This is just kind of an experiment, you know. And I am designing my craft studio so that way, as soon as we do break ground, you know, well, before we break ground, you know, so that way when we're ready to break ground, that design is finalized already, and we can. That's funny, I glued the fabric this time instead of the plastic bottle. I don't know why. That's very odd. But anyways, you know, I'm trying to get my art studio design finished. I'm trying to, you know, create a workable space for in the meantime. You know, there's been a lot of things going on there that are all great, all goods. And then, you know, this is one of those things that, like, I struggle. Do I want to mention it? Do I want to bring it up? Do I not want to share it? I did do a quick sharing that my cat, she has skin cancer on her nose, and it's a weeping sore, and it takes a fair amount of upkeep and you know, day-to-day cleaning, and I have to help her, and you know, it's a struggle, and so, you know, like I said, it's one of those things that I kind of hemmed and hawed about mentioning it all. So okay, so this one I should have paid closer attention. It's not quite tall enough, so we're going to take a different method on this one, where I'm just going to cut the top even with the plastic. My not so great scissors. There we go, we found a good spot. And just cut it even, and then I will do kind of like a binding strip sort of a thing over the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this back and put glue along the plastic on the top edge. But see, we're just kind of creating as we go. I don't have an exact, this is, you know, how it has to be done or anything like that. I just kind of make it up as I go. That's how I roll. So if that's how you create, if that's how you like watching people create, you are in the right place. Thank you so much for joining me in my crafty chaos. Because, you know, some days it does feel like I'm creating more chaos than craft, you know? Like, you know, it does. Okay, so we did that. And I mean, that I could leave it like that. I did find that I don't really care for that plastic edge being exposed. I want something folded over that edge because stuff catches on it. So, let's see. So I will do that. Some ribbon in a second. See, that piece not quite long enough. So let's see, what about this piece? This piece long enough? Yes, this piece is long enough. Okay. So let's see, I have a straightish edge here. I'm just gonna use that glue, like I said, to kind of tack that down. Pull it around. And that'll create a nice overlap there. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I just use my ruler, and I'm not even going to use the straight lines this time because it is just dropping down into there, so it doesn't really matter. I don't know why I got so fussy with it the first time, but you know. Been doing YouTube for a little over a year now, maybe 2 years. Like, I'm not sure. That first year I was really sporadic with it, and so and I had to just take a quick break. You know, last week I only put out one video. I didn't really plan on taking a break or a vacation, but like I said, with my cat being sick like she is, it's been very, very draining, and it can, you know, it can be difficult to find time. Like right now, you can probably hear my son outside mowing, you know, and I got tired of waiting for a time that was perfect, right? Like, just get it done. People don't care if they can hear a mower. I mean, some people do, but, you know, who cares, right? And then there's the advice of, you know, pay attention to who your audience is and create content for them, you know, that they were going to want to watch. And then there's the conflicting advice of, you know, the audience comes last. Do something you're passionate about and you just happen to be sharing it, you know, and deciding what to do and what not to do, and you know, things of that nature. You know, my mind's been a little busy lately. So I hope that all is well in your world, whatever that is, wherever that is. I hope you guys are doing awesome, whatever's happening in your world. You know, other than my cat being sick, actually, our life is, you know, pretty normal right now. There's not anything extraordinary happening, which is awesome. You know, it's one of those lulls of life, which, you know, can be very restful. It can be nice. The beginning of this year started off, you know, really. Like I said, my son had, you know, if you didn't hear, my oldest son, he had a close call with appendicitis. He was real sick, and thankfully it was, you know, they got it. He was okay, you know, but that was how we started our January. You know, and he doesn't live here or anything. He's engaged to be married. He's got 2 stepdaughters. You know, they have their life, you know, and everything, but it's still, you know, not something a mom rides out emotionally without you know, some pretty intense feelings, right? So, you know. Anyways, but see, I've been trying really hard not, you know, like, I don't want to talk about sad stuff all the time, you know, but, like, those are the things that are happening in my world right now, and it just, you know, it kind of sucks, but I don't really want to, you know, bum everybody out. But it gets hard to talk when you don't want to share certain things. Okay, so what this is 2 strips of cardboard that I have rough cut and then trimmed down to just the right width to be just a little bit wider than these guys. And then I also prepped some papers. Now the ink part here is just something I did the other day while I was just, you know, playing with some paper. Playing with my inks and making some background pages. That way I can just grab and use like this. And so actually placing it this way would have been better. Oops. Like so. That way I can see my margins. Yep, I got some, excuse me, I got some glue on my mat here. Get rid of that. I mean, not that it cleaned it up, but now my paper's not sticking. So we're just going to glue it onto that side, and then I'm just going to wrap it around and not worry about what the bottom looks like. You know, it's a little desk organizer. I mean, I'm going to make it flat, but I'm not going to worry about the visual of it. And actually, I don't need to go all the way across, I don't think. I can always add more glue, right? Oh, it's add more. Let's do this one. Just kind of massage it in. You know, do your little creasy thing, however you like to do your creases. You know, different people have different techniques. One of the things that I love to do is just when I have a small flat like this is I will put my, in this case I'm putting my thumb against that short flat and my index finger on the top and forming that little corner, and it just kind of rubs that crease in without having to take that paper back off or anything. Okay, now I want to do the corner. Let's see if I do that. I'm gonna fold it down like so. And like, I don't have a system here. This is just, I'm just winging it. Every time I'm just winging it, seeing, okay, how do I want to do this? You know, I think I want to do that when we tuck it in. There we go. So that's what I want to do on the other side. And it's just, you know, you'll figure it out as you go, the way that you like to do things, how you like to do your folds. There's no 100% right, 100% wrong in our crafty journey here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and tip it up like that, so that way that glue doesn't get stuck to anything. But I'm gonna use this extra glue to add to this overlapping bit. So that way that's glued down as well. And then come back up here to these corners because I figured out that's how I want to do them. Just give that a second to hold. Fold this up. So, you know, I have so many ideas, right? I have so many ideas of things I want to do with you guys, so many ideas of things I want to do. I want to set up my coffee account. I want to, you know, I want to, right? I have all these things. And it's just about prioritizing, right? And getting down what's, but see, as a new business owner, I don't really know what to prioritize, right? And so, and you don't know what you don't know, right? And so, like, I didn't realize, I mean, on a level I knew that you needed some marketing skills, you know, in order to have a successful YouTube channel. I did not realize the level of marketing skills that you actually need to have a truly successful, you know, YouTube channel. And so, I've also started taking pretty much any free marketing class that I can come across right now because, you know, I still have little to no income coming in from my crafty ventures, which, you know, I mean, these things take time. I'm not complaining. It is what it is. And so I'm trying to get my pokey thing so I can push that glue into there. So so I'm taking, you know, like I said, you know, the free courses, which, you know, are super helpful, and I'm so thankful that there's so much free available, you know, out there right now. But at the same time, you know, most of the ones that I'm finding or that I've taken so far are very much, you know, like they're trying to sell you their bigger package, essentially. Yeah, here's some basic information, but, you know, think how much further you could go if, you know, and they, like I said, they're trying to sell their bigger product. So, okay, wait, I need to put something over the edge. to make me happy. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to bump that. Let's see. Let's get this stuff out of the way. Excuse the cat hair, you know, this is a personal project, so I'm not being fussy about keeping the cats off of it. And they are taking advantage. But as you can see, I have this basket of all of this awesome goodies, all of this awesomeness for another project I'm doing, which is this. It's an alphabet crazy quilt. So, you know, I got a lot of things going. Some are recording, some I'm not, some are personal, some are, I don't know, shareable. Let's see. Well, that would look cute just on the outside, but it doesn't. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work. So I'm gonna need something at least an inch wide. Okay. Good to know, good to know. See, this is one of my favorite fabrics, so we'll go with that. Go ahead, move that back to the side. Get these guys out of the way. Scrap out of the way. Here we go. Okay. And so again, I'm just going to run a little bead. This is just Fabrifix. This would be a great place to use hot glue if you have hot glue and you're more comfortable with that. Totally a hot glueable project. I don't recommend using like glue stick or anything like that. You need to use a fairly, you know, hardy glue in order for it to do its thing. You know, for it to be strong enough. So, to hold it. Well, again, it kind of just depends, because if you're making it for, you know, a prop for a play and it's going to be thrown away, you know, in 6 weeks or whatever, you know, you obviously don't need to worry about it. But if you're trying to make something for yourself that's going to replace a plastic or commercial something, or maybe not replace it, but, you know, take the place of that instead of purchasing something, but you want it to last, you want it to be something you're gonna, you know, be able to use, then, you know, use the best materials and techniques available to you. You don't have to be a master artist or anything like that, but, you know, take your time and make things line up straight, you know, and all of that, because you're going to be looking at it, you know, and this is for you. We spend so much time as crafters, or at least I know I do, focused on making things for other people, that, you know, I think some of us like neglect ourselves there, because who else is going to enjoy our art more than us, right? Like, on a level, nobody's going to get it on the same level that you do. I mean, even if you're blessed enough to have other people enjoy your art, it's still, you know, like I said, I feel like it's one of those things that kind of gets forgotten sometimes and gets left out of an artist's journey, is creating art for themselves. So there we go. Now that's worked around. And see, that's super cute too. You know, this is super cute, and, you know, with it wrapped around the outside edge. You could take this tucked in. There is this upper area here that would allow the, you know, the bulk to go up in there if you wanted it to, needed it to. As super cute as I think this is, with the cuff on there, like, see the gap that's being formed? I'm not loving that, but we'll just go with it and see how it works, because I can kind of squish it a little, so we'll do that. Okay, now see, this sticks out a bit, that corner, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to stick it towards a corner. That way, that little bit that it sticks out is not a big deal. Now, I will warn you, if you're using hot glue, if you're using a low temp gun, I don't think it'll matter, but a high temp gun totally melts these plastic bottles. So, fair warning. Be careful. And so I'm going to just stick this right here in this corner. That way it's not hanging off, you know, it's all contained by the space of the base. And then I'm just going to stick the other ones on. And I just glue along the bottom. You know, a fair amount of glue. And if it gets down in that dumped part, don't worry about it because it's super wet when you flip it over, so most of it's going to fall back down anyways. And let's see. I'm going to put this one here. Okay, so now that I've decided where I'm going to put it, I'm going to put a bead of glue in between them as well. But I like to actually place it and then tip it back to make sure that I'm getting that in the right spot. So, I don't know, you other YouTube creators out there, what do you guys think about the whole, you know, create videos for your audience or create videos for yourself, you know, thing? That advice that's prevalent out there in the YouTube world for crafty creators. What's your 2 cents on that? And even if you don't have a channel, like, just if you have thoughts on that, I would love to hear them. Sorry if my head's getting in the shot a little bit, but I'm trying to make sure that I have them on there the right way, you know, and they're good and centered and all of that. But there we go. I had been working towards, there's a store, a local store called Becca's Bargains, and it's it's kind of like a flea market, only it's in place all the time, and she you know, rent stalls. But you don't have to like stay there. It's not like a vendor stall where you have to stay there. It's kind of like consignment. I don't know exactly how to describe it. But I was working on getting my stuff together so that way I could have a stall set up there. But that is not going to work out yet. I am going to do that. But it's going to have to wait a minute. Our truck... We've had a heck of a year with our truck. It's started last year. We've been buying parts for it, and you know, it's you know, my husband loves this truck, and the engine is a really good one, you know, but the body is falling apart, and like, I mean, we've had to replace the engine mounts, we've had to replace this, we've had to replace that, and it's just a little frustrating. But there we go. There's our little finished organizer. But because the Becca's Bargains thing did not work out, I am revamping my eBay site right now. And we'll be doing a video very soon with an eBay restock. So, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Got some inspiration for a cute little, you know, something for your desk. And see, now I have a spot for my glue. And see, this one is great. Oh, this little organizer here is great, but this big tub here, I put way too much in here, and then I can't find anything. I mean, I know it's all right there, but I spend so much time picking through, and I jab myself, and, you know. So I wanted one that had the smaller cups for in here, and then I'm going to continue to use this one out in my sewing area, because even the open scissors, you know, like this, will fit down in there. So I can't tell y'all how much I appreciate you. Come back and see me, and don't forget to subscribe.